Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Wednesday morning. In 2020, it may not be, but every other year, the busiest and biggest drinking night of the year. I'm the man they call Meathead, and joining me on a Wednesday morning is Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving Eve.
Thanksgiving Eve. I used to love working the bars, and I used to love not working the bars at the same time because this is the go-out night of the year. New Year's Eve used to always be that night, but it's the night before Thanksgiving when nobody has to work the next morning. I mean, it is party central.
And once upon a time, it used to be the night of the Survivor Series.
Yeah, the pre-Thanksgiving Eve tradition, I think it was called for a year. Because that's what a tradition is 1 year.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's that's all that's what counts. I think it was, what was it, 94?
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm okay with Thanksgiving or the Survivor Series being the Sunday prior to Thanksgiving. I mean, it's fine. Just like the Royal Rumble is always the Sunday in between the NFL and AFL or NFC and AFC championships and Super Bowl. So on that bye week, when they don't have anything, that's the night of the Royal Rumble. It used to be the same day as the Pro Bowl, and nobody's watched the Pro Bowl anymore. So.
I remember the days when the only way, this was pre-internet, where the only way you could vote for the Pro Bowl participants was to go to your local Radio Shack and get a little deal where you mailed away.
Yeah, and didn't you have to worry about hanging chads?
That was a couple of years later.
Okay, just checking. All right, let's talk sponsors real quick before we get into a little wrestling action. CollarandElbowBrand.com. They have a Black Friday sale going on right now. It's Black 30. Black 30 can get you 30% off. According to Dave Hero, too, I saw him tweet out PWR 360 will get you 30% off as well. But if that's not taking 30% off, use Black 30. Get yourself 30% off. I know I'm going to be going shopping in a couple of days. Matthew, I don't know what you have as far as Collar and Elbow Brand yet, but it's time to go get some more. I know Linda said she's got a closet full of the stuff. It's time for me to get some more shirts and some more hoodies. So CollarandElbowBrand.com plus our friends at Manscaped.com are always making you silky smooth. I did check, by the way, and I know you've been listening over the week, and I know everybody else has been listening. Dave says he can't trademark silky smooth because he stole it from the Zohan.
Yeah, it had a ring to it. It just sounded like
ring.
One of those things.
Well, if you would have said fuzzy bubbler, then I would have got it.
Yeah. No, it's just one of those things that you hear somewhere and you store away, and then it just comes back at some point.
All right. So, Matthew, we haven't heard from you yet on Survivor Series 2020. Overall thoughts, and you said you were keeping score between yourself and myself. How did that turn out?
I won the Survivor Series.
You won this. You were the sole survivor between you and
I won the Survivor Series. I picked 4 matches correctly, only mispicked 2. Now you didn't do bad. You came out 500. You don't have a losing record in the Survivor Series. You went 3 for 3. But I came out on the winning end, and even what I got wrong, I opened the show with a misforecast. I was calling the SmackDown men's team to win that opening match, but
they got shut out.
But if you go back and listen to the tape, I said that Jey Uso would be the sole survivor, which he was of his team.
Well, he didn't survive because he got pinned. He was the last remaining.
He was the last man standing in his team. And if you go back,
and he was the last man to be pinned.
And you listen to the tape, I said the whole purpose of that match was to further the Jey Uso story, and it did. So the thing of it is, even when I'm wrong, I illuminate the listeners with, so much that still pretty much I was right.
10-4, Matthew Thomas. You don't know this, and the listeners don't know this, but I picked The Miz to win the dual brand Battle Royal.
I didn't know it was a match.
Either did I. I mean,
by the way, pre-show matches don't count.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing, though. As we were totaling up the points for the PWR draft, that is the most pre-show points for anybody. I mean, not just the Battle Royal. The entire Raw men's team was on pre-show. Corbin and Owens were on the pre-show. I mean, good gracious.
Did you watch live, or were you on a little bit of a delay?
I was actually live.
Okay. I was asking because I had a crazy thing with my network go on. I was a couple hours delayed, and when I got home, I could access the pre-show and start the pre-show, but Survivor Series 2020 was nowhere to be found. I actually had to go to the current live content, which was the Stone Cold podcast, and rewind from that, thanks to some technical assistance I got from my sister, which I was having a little hard time figuring out the network. But yeah, I actually had to go back, multiple hours and access it that way. And that was the way I had to watch it. I got interrupted a couple times, and each time I had to go back to the live feed and, go back at 60. Yeah, it was some technical hiccups on my end anyway.
Okay, so again, we've already done the Survivor Series wrap up, but overall, your thoughts on the entire show and the Undertaker Farewell?
High points, tag match, Roman and McIntyre. There was, the women's match I thought was really good. The rest of it was a bit underwhelming at spots. Here's the thing with the Taker Farewell. By all means, he's got the way he has the right to go out any way he wants to. If he wanted to go out, riding a unicorn, into the Thunderdome, that'd be the way to do it. I guess where I'm at is the closing segment was just strange to me. The introductions of his friends, one at a time, everybody gets their own intro. They're gone after the video package. And what I just don't quite understand is the fact that we're going to get back to audiences at some point, hopefully in the not so distant future. This could be done in an audience. This does not require somebody's to be at a certain physical level. This doesn't require, okay, I've got to get this one more match out. And, because I don't know what physical level I'm going to be in the next couple of years. And the strange thing to me with all of this, the final farewell, the appreciation, you kind of do need that. You need that audience feedback to have him come out there, deliver the promo, walk with piped in chants. It feels strange in the question.
He stopped his speech a couple times with piped in chants.
Yeah. What I walk away from is why now? Why having to come out and say this goodbye to nobody? It just does not make sense to me.
He was ready. I mean, we heard Dave yesterday morning say, look, Undertaker's on TikTok. He was ready to go. I mean, it was one of those things where, you know what, just put my food in the bag. I'm going home. I mean, that's kind of where he was. And I'm okay with that. I mean, again, they talked about it. I didn't get to finish the Stone Cold interview with Taker on the second run there, but they talked about it and said, he is probably the most respected guy that's ever been in the business. The character is probably the biggest character in the history of the business. And you know what? He's done his time. Thank you, brother. We love you. You can go whatever way you want.
Yeah. And you really feel like, I don't think there's anybody else they would have done this for. I don't think they would have closed a major pay-per-view with 30 to 40 minutes of what this was really for anybody else. So by all means, absolutely deserves to go out any way he sees fit, whenever he sees fit. And I think that's what we got. That's what we got the other night. And I think, like a lot of people, you're wondering, okay, is this to build some angle? Or are we going to get, something else? And when you walk away from it, when you saw exactly how it was, you come away with, no, that was it. Because
that was it.
Yeah, they would not have done that for anybody else. And that's what we've been being told all along. That's what the last ride was. And I know we got the acknowledgement of it on the very last show, but this has been, this, and along with all the network Undertaker programming, I mean, this
the month of Undertaker, the last ride, all of it.
This has been, in a lot of ways, his and the WWE's way of trying to let the fans come to term with the fact that, this is it for Taker.
Yeah. Okay. The Paul Bear hologram was kind of cool. But I mean, it's a hologram, but I mean, it was cool still. And the guy playing, so there was somebody that was playing the music. I didn't see where it was, but that electric. They were playing the Undertaker's theme with like electricity. That was cool.
Here's what I walk away from scratching my head is that you want him to have that true, genuine reaction for himself. Yeah. You want him to experience that moment, and in a
maybe
lot
he
of
doesn't
ways,
care. Maybe he doesn't.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Just to kind of encapsulate it, you had that moment worked. This was a work of getting that moment, and it's of course it's any way he wants to do it. My goodness, but it's a bit of a strange thing to witness, and it's definitely unprecedented. Yeah. We've never been an experience where outside of trying to make a show pop a little bit or to overcompensate for a dead audience, where you've had to play around with the vocals or the production or whatever, but you've never had to pipe in. You've never had to.
Thank you, Takers, Undertaker. You've piped in stuff that normally you get, during an appreciate.
It's just it's a strange time, and it's him getting to that place where it looks like he's in a good place and ready to do this at a very strange time, and this is just a result of us being at the end of 2020 and all the strangeness that this year's brought.
Okay. We got a little bit of news. There's more wrestling coming to Tuesday nights, Matthew. Have you heard?
I heard about 5 minutes ago, actually.
Was it a shockwave of an announcement for you?
Is that the Shock Master? Is that the guy that fell?
No, not the glittery stormtrooper. No, NWA Shockwave debuting next week on YouTube Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. NWA is going to be putting out new shows. Now, I knew that NWA had talents like Nick Aldis. You guys remember Nick Aldis? That was Magnus. We knew that they had Thunder Rosa because she's the women's champion, or was the women's champion. I knew that they had people like Aaron Stevens. I did not realize that in NWA is one of my favorites from Impact over the last handful of years, Eli Drake. Dummy. Eli Drake is a star, and I hope that somebody else catches on to Eli Drake being a star and he makes it to the big stage.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see NWA come back. I didn't watch it regularly, but I caught, pretty frequently the NWA Power back when that was still on the air, and they had to put a really good show together. It's a really good talent roster, so super excited to see them back in the game, and hopefully they can really make a run of it, because you could tell there was a lot of effort put into the product, something different out there that's not, your typical wrestling product. So wish them all the luck in the world. Do you have any data on the runtime? Is it still an hour like Power was?
I got to assume so. Because I don't have anything else telling me anything different that it's Power. That it's an hour, an hour of Power, So, no, NWA Shockwave premiering next week on YouTube on the NWA page. So looking forward to seeing that. It's going to take place at Thunder Studios in L.A., being produced in conjunction with United Wrestling Network. So, again, new Nick Aldis was over there. I believe there was a time when I thought Wade Barrett was doing something on the English side of that as well. So who knows? But Wade Barrett now obviously, calling color commentary for NXT. Let's work our way over to NXT real quick. Matthew, you have anything else to add before we get over there?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw, what we've seen with the NWA women's division at AEW. The NWA women's division, in my opinion, has been the highlight of the women's division and featured on AEW. So I'm looking forward to getting more of that on a weekly basis.
Okay. Eli Drake was in WWE. Like I said, I hope he gets a shot at the big stage again. He's been a tag team partner of Jon Moxley, taking on the Big Show in NXT. So
that's going back a ways.
He was also in the ECW Dark Match, teaming with Gene Snitsky, losing to yo, Papa 40 and check your rollie. It's crime time.
Whose fault was that?
It wasn't his fault. It wasn't Gene's fault.
Okay.
Just making sure that we're all on the same page there. All right. So Eli Drake again, NWA Shockwave coming next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Let's make our way into NXT, and we've got a couple matches announced for tonight on NXT. I know we usually go AEW then NXT, but let's talk NXT real quick. We've got two matches. First off, Ember Moon and Candice LeRae will be kind of going head to head. Now, the thing is that War Games is coming up, right? I think it's December 6th.
Right around the corner.
You know what's ironic about that? They have other WWE programming airing at the exact same time.
It seems a little strange.
I don't know if you heard, Tribute to the Troops is going to be on Fox on December 6th.
Interesting. December the 6th, WWE is just taking over, huh?
Taking over, no pun intended. So NXT TakeOver War Games, Ember Moon's going to captain a team. Candice LeRae is going to captain a team. And she will be joined by 3 yet-to-be-named partners to face Shotzi Blackheart and 3 of her partners. So we got that. And also, apparently, for the advantage in War Games, it's going to be the Undisputed Era. You know, Cole, O'Reilly, Strong, and Fish will have one member from their team face the Team McAfee. Again, there's no real team name. It's for the brand, but Pat McAfee will be wrestling at NXT TakeOver in War Games. He is part of the 4-man team. It's McAfee, Dunn, Lorcan, and Birch. So whoever wins this singles match, they will get the advantage at War Games.
You know what I like about this is there's stakes, just like we saw on Monday night, you know, with the 3 matches to determine who is going to go to the triple threat match. There's stakes. There's importance. This is not just people,
they're working towards something.
Yes, for the sake of wrestling. There is an actual, and not that you necessarily have to have a win-loss record like AEW does, but, you know, give me a reason as to why these 2 people are matched up other than just to fill time. And we've got this going into tonight's episode.
Yeah, and it makes sense. So let's talk AEW Dynamite coming up tonight. Hangman Adam Page with his first match since losing to Kenny Omega to become the number 1 contender. But he's going to be taking on somebody that's also looking to rebound as well. John Silver. Out of all the Dark Order members, and I love Boom Boom Colt Cabana, I actually like John Silver. He's a little too amped up for me sometimes, but John Silver, he's entertaining.
Yeah, and he's got a first and last name. You know, he's not a number.
I mean, he's got a number too, but
yeah, you know, I mean, that's I think that goes a long way with the Dark Order. So yeah, I don't foresee anything other than Page winning here. I know Silva's been featured recently, but you know, most recently coming off his loss against Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be pretty easy victory for Page here. And that's AEW. That's where a little bit of kind of the roster depth or what has been featured on Dynamite comes into effect here, is that your upper middle of the card guys, you have a very, to me, there seems like a very definitive line there. And I see a matchup like this, and it's hard for me to, you know, see a scenario where Silva even has a fraction of a chance of winning. Yeah. And I think that that's something that I want to see, you know, as you start getting more talent, you know, brought up maybe from Dark, that you can iron out a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Also, the reuniting of Death Triangle happened last week on Dynamite, so we're going to have a tag team match. It's Pac and Ray Phoenix taking on the Butcher and the Blade with the Bunny. So, I mean, that little Eddie Kingston family has been kind of busted up because he brought back the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, this is interesting. This was a nice progression last week. Glad to see this. I think, you know, Pac is a star, and I'm glad to see him back. He's really one of those guys, you know, in the upper part of that card that is really believable. You know, I think he's definitely one of the top tier talents there. It dawned on me last week when I was watching AEW, my goodness, there's a large amount of stables.
Yeah, oh my God, they've got 3 and 4-man teams all over the place.
It's like everybody is in a stable of some sort. I mean, Cody's got 17 people that accompany him to the ring.
And we're kind of working our way towards the next one. Team Taz is up to 4 members because Will Hobbs will be in action.
Yeah, and even the people that, you know, don't have a stable per se, they've got a mouthpiece. You've got Lance Archer with Jake Roberts. I mean, this is
best friends. I mean, you've even got, you know, Miro and Kip Sabian with his girl.
Yeah, And it's been right there in front of us the whole time. But last week, it just finally dawned on me. It's like, I mean, you really have to scratch your head and find somebody who's not associated with anybody.
Right, exactly. Well, here's one. The AEW Women's Champion. She's going to be defending her belt. Sheeta's taking on Anna Jay, the number 5 contender.
Yeah, she'll be in a stable after tonight's show.
And the main event, speaking of another stable / family, taking on another stable or a 3-person team, Jericho and Hager will tag up against Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian of SCU.
My goodness, we do not see much of Daniels and Kazarian, do we?
No, but when they come out, they're important.
Yeah,
which
they
helps.
They really are. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them on the show. I think this further. Oh,
you know who they should add to SCU? Oh my God. Oh,
ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for me to go inside your brain. I am now going Meathead inside you.
Matthew, are you ready for this?
Oh yes, this is my favorite part of the show.
There's already 3 members of SCU: Daniels, Kaz, Sky, Curry.
Oh my goodness.
A 4th member to SCU would be amazing if you could put Curry Man in there.
Wouldn't you said Curry Man, not Curry Head, right?
You know what? If you listen back to the tape, there is a nanosecond pause because I almost said Curry Head.
It took me a second because I didn't know if you said the right one or not.
That's why I said Curry.
Oh, it would be fantastic. And you would never see him and Daniels together at the same time. It would be wonderful. Oh,
I need the AEW bookers to listen to it and let me get inside of them. I will never pull out. I will stay in there forever.
I think if you send the correct notarized letter to Tony Khan requesting your entrance upon him, he'd be okay with it. He'd give it a listen. He'd give it a shot.
But seriously, SCU, if they wanted to add 1 member, it's got to be Curry Man.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
I'm telling you, ratings right there.
I mean, honestly, Curry Man versus Orange Cassidy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's hot. He's spicy. He tastes great. Curry Man versus Blood Orange Cassidy.
The fun you could have.
Oh my God. And then Orange Cassidy, you can make it like Orange Chicken. I mean, there's so much there.
Yeah, there really is. Book it.
I'm sorry, folks. I literally stopped for a second and go, how hard would I pop if Curry had showed up on? Oh my God.
If Curry had showed up?
Yeah, I say Curry had that time. But if Curry Man showed up, I would pop. Because Curry Head's already been, cheering on Daniel Bryan in the ring. So
yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, hey, again, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and we've got the day after Thanksgiving coming up. So no shows for Thursday or Friday morning. Take some time with your family. Write to AEW and ask them for Curry Man to show up in SCU because they need a 4th member. Oh my God!
And play your family some back episodes of this very show. Let us know. Well, if you're gathering, let us know what your family thinks of us and that fun show that you listen to on a daily basis.
Yeah, seriously, if you get bored, go back in the PWR history. In the annals, go all the way back. We've been here in some shape or form for 22 years. There are people that listen to us that we've been doing it longer than they've been alive.
You can go back and hear Meathead trying to decide which condoms to buy.
Right, exactly. You can go back and realize that, we had other members beside Dave and Damian and Meathead. I mean, how about, we had Keisha, we had Lee Hummel. I mean, just random names. I mean, the best name of all, time, of course, is Charles Wesley Muhammad Weiss Love Leinenkugel III Obama. That was my favorite. He was the best.
I think Chuck Cunningham was on the show for a while.
Right, but then we acknowledged that he wasn't actually related because, Aaron, I almost said Aaron. Joni only had 1 brother.
That's what it was.
All right, enough Milwaukee references. For Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Happy Thanksgiving. So long, everyone.